Jono, tell us about some dodgy wine industry secrets.
Okay, so when we're putting wine to barrel, we're relying on the long format. We're in it for the long game, and we want it to slowly break down, to slowly concentrate up. If it happens too fast, you lose those beautiful aromatics and perfumes and florals, and usually red fruit as well. So we want to control that process. Now, if you're in the business of making huge volume in large format with a high degree of consistency, vintage to vintage, consistency across a range, you're going to, and you want to save on costs, you're going to take other means and facilities that are still legal, but they do they tread a fine line, I think. They're in a bit of a grey area. For example, you can add oak chips at the crusher. So you can just put oak chips straight in. You can add all sorts of products like gum arabic. You can add a whole lot of stabilizing agents. You can add fining and filtration agents, and what a lot of them do is strip the wine bare. So you're putting things in, you're stripping things out, and then you've got to try and make up for what you've lost, because invariably you're taking other things with it. So if you put fining agents in your wine, there's a good chance you're losing out on other things. You'll lose out on color. You'll take probably too much out, even if you've done a trial. Then you'll have to add back for some of that volume, and there's a lot of people adding back grape juice concentrate, which in Australia is legal. We're not allowed to add sugar, but grape juice concentrate's okay. You add grape juice concentrate, you've got a whole world of other issues. Now you need to make sure that that wine is filtered down to what they call a sterile rate, so you don't have that microbacterial risk. Then once you've done that, you've lost all those beautiful tannins and everything you've put in there. So what do? You get a big bag of tannins and you shake it in, stir it up, and tip it back into the wine, and that's quite literally what happens. Then you've got to potentially add something in for the color that you've lost, and so all of this funny business amounts to a wine that's been forced. You're forcing its hand trying to make it something. Whereas,
so do you think it's more like you're a chemist than a winemaker?
Absolutely, you're playing Mr. Scientist rather than an artist, and we like the art form. And you can be, when you're a great chef, yep, you know all the science, you've got all the great gadgets and tools and everything, you know how to use them, but great chefs can make it really simple using high quality produce and a bit of nous, and that's definitely what we're pursuing here.
And what's the side effect of all those chemicals and all that?
Well, you potentially got more histamine effect. So there's an additional polyphenolic compound that they've discovered that's probably higher in those tannin additives. So you've got that. That's I think it's a Q phenol, and then you've also got the additional sulfur that will be added to try and reduce that microbacterial risk with all the sugar that you've added. So I would say, yep, you're probably going to have a red and flushed face if it doesn't agree with you.
So basically, it's like a big hazmat.
Something like that, you could say.
Thanks, mate.
Too easy. Yeah, my pleasure.